hello everyone, and good evening. Welcome. Welcome to Monday evening. Welcome to an art stream. No, this is not Thursday. I know time is a strange, weird, and nebulous concept, but no, it is not Thursday. It is Monday, and we're doing an art stream. We're doing some photo editing tonight with a shoot that I did just a little over a week ago, and my good friend, the model, is present. Welcome, McKenna.
Hello.
I've been looking forward to editing these, and I'm glad you're here. So thank you for spending once again another stream with me.
I am happy to be able to do so. It's been way too long.
It has been. It has been. I mean, even though you were just on my board game stream, but, you know, that doesn't count as an art stream.
Yeah, that's true. I was referring specifically to an art stream. Granted, I was only on here one other time for that, but...
And good evening to you, Sayonara, and good evening to you, Silent Martyr. Also, Sayonara, thank you for the resub. I saw the message come up on the starting soon screen, so thank you so much for the resub. Yep, I'm doing that right now, Silent Martyr. Let's bring McKenna up. There we go. She was
slightly more audible now.
Yeah, I bumped you up on the I bumped you up on my Discord, and I'm lowering the background music.
Yeah, and I'll get my mic a little closer to my face too and see if that helps some.
So continue to enjoy the emotes, Sayonara. Speaking of which, before I get started with tonight's editing, you have not yet told me, Sayonara, what you want for the thank you gift, since you won the first giveaway on the charity drive here for the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. You haven't decided whether you wanted video game store credit or one of my photos. So I don't know if you had time to think about that at all, but again, no rush. You know, let me know when you're good and ready. So, but yes, this is going to be like all of my streams have been for July and August. This is a charity stream for the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. They are an organization that have been around for over 30 years, providing financial assistance to women who need abortions, who need emergency contraception, who need reproductive health care. Because despite what the Republican Party and the Supreme Court have to say, abortion rights are absolutely 100% essential. I really don't care what they say. So if you're able to, please donate. I am doing giveaways for every $100 that we raise, and we are $25 away from the next giveaway. And again, if you are the winner of the giveaway, you can either have video game store credit to the video game marketplace of your choosing. So that would be Steam, Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Network, or Xbox Live, or you can go onto my website, my Instagram, Vero, Patreon, wherever I have my images. Pick any image, any one that you want, and I will send you an 8x12 print of it by way of thanks. Steam credit is cool. Thank you, and my art is awesome. Thank you so much. I'll just need to know your name on Steam so I can send that to you. You can shoot me a message on Discord, or you could... Twitch has their own whispers system, so you can let me know there as well. So I will send you $25 worth of Steam credit. All right, now that we've gotten the business end out of the way, let's do some editing. So this is another new costume by McKenna. So McKenna, I will let you have the floor while you chat about your costume and your inspiration and all that fun stuff.
So this was for a LARP that I attended at the end of April called Oxentia, which The game itself was about 2 hours outside of Chicago. It wasn't like a huge game. Want to say like 25-ish with staff, probably a little more with staff, but the player groups were between like 4 and 5 people each, and there were several of those. So it was a fantasy steampunk themed game taking place in the fictional city of Auxentia. The premise of which was that the mayor of the city has called together the leaders of all of the 5 loosely organized factions within the city to get them to wear their get along shirt. And it was the themes of the game included unraveling past mysteries, overcoming shared trauma, and other fun, I guess, moving past bad events. That's a really bad way of saying it, man. But the backstory was that there was a war that this city had been at with another nation, and they were under siege for many years, and it's been about 15-20 years since they came out of it. So a lot of the characters either served in the war or were otherwise negatively affected by it. My character was a waitress. Her name was Dolly. She came from a poor family who lived in the slums of the city, and that neighborhood was burned down. It was a fire broke out during the siege, and she lost basically everything, and managed eventually to find a job as a waitress and sort of pulled herself back up from there. Her faction was the Irregulars, who were the sort of working class union folks, people who lived on the streets, basically, you know, the everyday citizens of the city. If you weren't rich or, you know, in the, you know, sort of business new money inventors group, you know, it or one of the, there was a player group of an indigenous culture to the valley where the city was located. If you weren't part of that, you sort of fell into the Irregulars just by default. So yeah, there was in my particular group of players, there was myself. We had a character named Irons, who was a factory worker who stumbled drunk into being the face of the labor movement in the city. We had a courtesan who was trying to marry his way out of the slums. His family used to have money, and now he's trying to marry back into it. And a healer who just sort of showed up on the streets one day with magic herbs and smoke and started taking care of the city's forgotten and downtrodden, and was generally a cinnamon roll. Her name was, oh god, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on, I gotta look it up. So that was Maxine. The courtesan was Celio, Irons, then myself, Dolly, and our NPC character was I have to look up everyone's names now. I'm sorry, my memory is the worst.
It's all right. It's not like you're on a game show. You have 30 seconds to answer.
Yeah. Where are you? God, why can't I remember Hillary's character's name? To the Facebook messages.
OC oversaturation syndrome in full effect.
Yes, basically. It's not that big of a deal in the long run. But yeah, so the events that took place during the game was that the mayor's impetus for inviting everyone together was one, to force them into a get along shirt, because all the factions hated each other at the beginning, and or they didn't hate each other, mistrust, I guess. And the mayor was planning on opening up the city's borders after many years of isolation following the siege, and there were some delegates from other nations who showed up that some of whom had been involved in the siege themselves, and it caused a lot of tension there. My character's personal narrative was to find the source of whatever the fire that burned down her home was, and to protect all of the other members of her group, because she was like a mother hen in that regard. She just wanted them all to be safe and unharmed and out of trouble. She tended to get into most of the trouble herself.
That'll happen.
Yeah, tended to, I didn't intend to play her as nosy as she was, but her defining trait in my mind in the end was the fact that she always carries lockpicks in her sleeve. She compulsively fidgets with said lockpicks, and she isn't afraid to just, casually wander into places where she's not supposed to be and steal things that she's not supposed to steal.
So your character's a kleptomaniac.
Not a kleptomaniac per se, but if she thinks it's going to help or protect someone, she's not afraid to get her hands a little bit smudged. Not entirely dirty, but a little bit smudged.
Just a little smudging.
Yeah. My favorite line that she had that weekend was someone had broken into the mayor's office, and the mayor confronted the irregulars about it because, of course, they're the sneaky ones. She's like, so everyone's saying you broke into my office. Like, what's the deal? And my response was, if we broke into your office, you wouldn't know we broke into your office. That is a professional insult. To think that we would have left evidence behind. Given that it was a steampunk...
Light pilfering. Yes, silent murder. Yes.
Light pilfering, exactly. Given that it was a steampunk game, the costume had to have a certain aesthetic, so I took inspiration from a couple different historical patterns. The corset is an heavy alteration of a pattern that I purchased from Atelier Self on Etsy. She also has her own website where you can download her stuff too. She has a large collection of extant Victorian corsets that she reverse engineers and then makes the patterns available for purchase for people to download and experiment with. I can't remember what year this particular one was from, but I liked the base style, and the proportions were fairly similar to what mine were to start, so sizing it up wasn't all that difficult. The jacket is what's called a wrapper dress, and I think this pattern was from the 1860s. It's from a company called Laughing Moon Mercantile. Again, a digital pattern that you can download from their website. The embroidery on it was my own little addition. I'm not sure if that's period accurate. The fact that it is a gradient is probably certainly not. They probably didn't have dip-dyed embroidery floss, but who knows, maybe they did, and I'm just talking out my butt.
It's all history.
Yes.
It's just light pilfering from history. Also, hi, Lena! Oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever! Hello! Sorry about that, McKenna. Just,
Fine.
A friend of mine and an art streamer who I have not seen for months, literal months on Twitch, has just popped into my chat. So, hi, Lena! Okay, continue.
Yeah. So, the dress itself, so the corset was kind of complicated because I had to, like, fit it specifically to me and make a lot of alterations to the seams and whatnot. Even though the proportions were right, the actual shape of the patterns, individual pieces had to change a bit. And there was a lot of, like, finicky seam work on it. The dress, on the other hand, was basically a bunch of rectangles. It's all pleated, along the bulk of it. It's just two big rectangles that are pleated together, and then the sleeves are slightly gathered, but nothing too like complicated. Overall, it's like a super beginner friendly project if you're looking to get into any sort of historical sewing or just sewing in general. The underskirt and the blouse were all just done by hand. I didn't have a formal pattern for them. I just sort of threw together stuff, and it ended up working.
Yeah, let me just pull up some of those detail shots as you're mentioning here. Yes, Lena, this is the model that is currently speaking. This is McKenna, whom you've seen a billion times. We've done a lot of shoots together. And yes, thank you, Lena. Lena's saying the photos we have done are amazing. You do great work, McKenna.
So do you, and I'm glad you like them, Lena. These are always so much fun. And I don't have a nice camera to be able to document this sewing journey of mine, so it pays to have friends who do have nice cameras.
So right now, I don't know if you're watching, if you're on Twitch, if you're watching the Twitch feed as well, McKenna. So I am. I've just now pulled up the corset and the undergarment there. So let me just pull up some. So we've got the little close-up shot, torso shot there.
The funny thing is that when I made this, like, it all fit 100% perfectly, and then, like, I lost a bunch of weight for the course of actually sewing it and then getting to the game and then doing this shoot. So the skirt is actually now like 3 inches too big in the waistline, and the I have to pad out the cups in the corset, which is historically accurate. They use padding everywhere, but it's just like, come on, it fits so perfectly, and now it didn't.
Yeah, also it didn't help that we had to reschedule this shoot 3 times.
Yeah, this was originally scheduled for the weekend after the LARP, and then I got COVID, and then Brian got food poisoning during our second attempt.
And then I got COVID.
And then he got COVID, so... And then everything else happened over the summer, and we were just really busy and never got a chance to do it until now.
Until finally. So yeah, so now I've got the jacket up, and you've got the accent pieces here.
Yes. So over on the left on the belt, that is what is called a chatelaine. and they were really popular in the Victorian era for women to keep all of their bits and baubles and household things on. So you would keep your keys, a purse, embroidery scissors, a needle case, anything that you really like, small tool things that you need to have on hand. Pocket watches could sometimes be clipped on there. They became sort of like a fashion item as well, and so a lot of women had one, especially if they were managing a household, but they got, of course, more elaborate and ornate and made with better materials the wealthier you were. This one was assembled using pieces that I got at Joann's from actually the paper crafting section. I think it's Tim Holtz is the brand. They have a lot of really fun, vintagey, steampunky type decorations and accents and whatnot. The cameo itself is a little fairy. That's from a seller on Etsy. I made the coin purse. There is actually, in this photo, the corkscrew I'm using was one of the things on that. It's a little key that pulls apart into a corkscrew, and the handle part of the key is a bottle opener. Which I saw that on Etsy on a vintage shop, and I was like, well, my character is both a thief and a bartender. She needs to own this. 100% she needs to own this. And I got permission from the game to have it on site, because it is a rather sharp, stabby implement, and you always want to double check with that when you're going to a LARP.
I know you had specifically one request of me was to make your fake burn scar here match your
yes
skin tone. So now let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, because of course, having her entire home burned down in a fire, she had to have some sort of visible scar from that, so I chose to give her one on her chest area. I made it with liquid latex, and I don't have proper grease paint for theater, so the makeup that I put on to try to get to match to my skin tone did not last at all.
Oh, I know what I'll do. Hold on. Let me go back to you. Go back to you. Let's just get rid of you.
People have any questions about the game or the outfit or anything, please feel free to ask, because I'm really terrible at coming up with stuff to say on the fly.
Getting liquid latex to hold color correctly, even with grease pen, is wicked hard. I think one of the few things I've seen really work is airbrushing, says Lena.
Oh yeah, and use an alcohol-based ink. Yeah, that's what I've seen people do that for SFX makeup and whatnot. At some point in the future, I might invest in an airbrush, but it's also one of those things where I don't think I'd get enough use out of it to justify the cost or learning how to use it. So, I would like to try it at some point.
Do that. And the thing is, it doesn't actually. I'm looking at the color of the scar, and it's not. It's already pretty close to the skin tone already, so I don't need to do too much to it.
Yeah, depending on the light, it can look super yellow. is what I was finding. I wasn't sure how it would show up in the final, like, once the photos were taken. But like, if I'm looking at it in the sunlight, like it's very clearly orange. But
Yeah, like in this image, for example, that I'm editing right now, it's a good chunk of it is in shadow, so it's not blatantly obvious. Like, so I've deselected the layer, so you can see that's its natural color. And all I've done here is tone the saturation down a bit, and it's pretty close.
yeah, actually, that is.
So that's actually not too bad in shadow. The real fun is going to be when I have one in full light. It's like, all right, Mr. Big Shot. The LARP I used to go to had a communal airbrush for makeup, but a ton of people pooled in for it from what I remember. It was also a very makeup-heavy fantasy game.
That's a good thought, actually, if you have someone who, like, knows how to use it, and a lot of people would use it. There's a vampire game I go to every fall called The Night in Question, and they do, one of the tiers for tickets is you can get, like, a full SFX monstrous character, and they have professionals come in with like airbrushes and whatnot to handle that portion of it.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, it looks a lot more natural.
It does. I mean, the studio lights that I use are already white balanced. They're mostly almost perfectly white balanced. So I just had to do a few little edits here. Like, the thing that actually took me the most time on here was I had to clone out the Scotch tape that you used. The Scotch tape and the big ol' octagon on the bottom here from this mammoth behemoth of a softbox. So I'm saving that one. That's already saved.
Wanted to have some callbacks to the game in the photos. So this is a logo. I printed it off from the game's merch store that they set up afterwards. There is a sweet lemon-based drink in the city, which is, supposed to be lemonade, but I decided I was going to come up with a recipe for it for the game, so I made lemon curd using a mix of whole eggs and egg yolks that I sweetened with orange blossom honey, and I mixed it with seltzer and vanilla extract, and it made like this fizzy, bubbly, sweet lemon deliciousness that I got to serve during a tea party at the game, and it was a lot of fun. So I decided that was going to be my callback. So I yoinked the logo for the drink from the game store and pasted it on a really cool looking wine bottle. And
oh, McKenna, feel free to post your various socials to where they can find more of you and your wonderful outfits.
of course, I will do so here in a second. Also, I actually opened that bottle of wine, Brian.
Yeah?
It's a bubbly Moscato. It was really good.
Oh, nice!
Like, very, very sweet. It didn't have, like, a lot of the, like, bitter grapey taste that you even get with, like, some sweet white wines. So, it tasted like sparkling juice.
Because you were
But it also got me drunk, so...
Yeah, you were drinking champagne during the shoot. There was some mild alcohol drinking on this shoot.
Yes.
And as soon as we're talking about drink, my bot reminds me to drink some water. So yes, hydrate, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to the liquor store in full getup before meeting Brian at our the location portion of the shoot, and one of the cashiers, as I was checking out, was like, "So, are you going to like an event, or is it just a normal thing for you?" And so I was like, well, now I'm doing a photo shoot, and I just need to pick some stuff up beforehand. But also, yes, I do occasionally wear portions of this to work, which I did not tell him, but a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. So now I'm working on one of the first ones that we did on location, where you're actually, we've got the lockpicks out. Or what did you call them? Like they're just like they're not meant to be used. It was like these are not. These are not lockpicks.
They're totally just sculpting picks or something like that.
Oh yes, totally.
Yeah, no, I got them on Amazon for like $5 instead of 4. They're like, I guess they're actually not supposed to be lock picks. Like they're clearly meant for. They're too thick to actually stick in any modern lock. But they look the part. I imagine you would use them more for like I said, detail work and sculpting, or if you were, working with some larger machinery and you needed to get into a little nook or cranny, they would be good for that. All right.
Silent martyr. She should have been like, "What do you mean? Do you not dress like this?"
I mean, everybody should wear more vintage-looking clothing, but that's just my opinion. I think historical and vintage clothing is classy, with the exception of some choice styles from the 80s and 90s, which, while fun, some trends just...
Shoulder pads for days.
Yeah, I mean, shoulder pads do have their place, but I don't want anyone, man or woman, to look like a linebacker in the office. Like, if you could blind me with the corners on your clothing, then I'm not a fan. Anyways. No, because they serve a purpose. Other than just looking intimidating. Like, I guess you could call them shoulder pads, but, like, actually, like, seriously speaking, there's padding underneath them because you're going to have your gambeson underneath any plate that you're wearing. So I guess whatever padding you have would be the shoulder pad. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate, and I said this at the shoot, but I'm like super pleased with how well I was able to match my hair dye to the bun that I got.
That's the first time you're telling me that. I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought I said that at the
no.
When we were taking photos, maybe. Yeah, no. Winged 41. Oh no, you're hurting me. You're hurting me with that comment.
Wing 41, that is Wing 41. This is not the Renaissance Fair. This is not a Renaissance Fair outfitter going, "Can you breathe?" Yes. Yoink!
That corset was at the time made specifically to my proportions and fits every curve just the way it's supposed to. So even if I lace down, it's not constricting bone or organs or anything. It's just redistributing useless squish into a slightly more pleasing shape.
So no, I did not know that was a fake bun.
Yeah, no, it's a fake bun. I got it from Arta Wigs, because I have chin-length hair and a undercut. And I didn't want to wear a full wig, but I figured this character needed, like, long hair, so I got the bun, and I had a short ponytail that it clipped over.
And I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute, because I mean, I haven't seen you in several months, so I'm like, maybe you grew your hair, because I didn't see you the next day for D&D, because then I would have noticed. Yeah. But you were playing remotely, so I didn't actually get.
Yeah. So, and you can actually see on this side where like the ends of the ponytail are sticking out from under the edge of the bun.
actually used to really like my corset I used to wear to Ren Fair as a teen. It was pretty comfy and made my posture great. Some people I know do that. They regularly wear corsets and they're comfy.
Yeah, no, if it works for your proportions and it fits you right, they are super comfortable. Like, I prefer the support I get in a well-fitted corset to the support I get from a bra, because it all comes from below and it takes a lot of weight off my shoulders and my back.
Good evening, Live Deaths. There's your standard greeting. Hydrate for you, good sir. All right, let me just take a quick second here while I've got a bit of an audience here. First of all, thank you for spending some of your Monday evening with myself and McKenna. Always enjoy having the pleasure of your company. So this is a charity stream, as all of my streams this month have been. And I'm raising money for the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, which is an organization that has been around for over 30 years, helping women, providing them financial assistance to get abortions, to get emergency contraception, to get reproductive health care. They are doing some very, very important work because abortion rights are essential. They no ifs, ands, or buts. So if you are able to contribute, the link does pop up in the chat. Winged41 just pulled it up. If you're able to, great. If not, I understand money's tight. Totally get it. But if you can donate, then it'd be very, very much appreciated. I am doing giveaways for every $100 that we raise. We're $25 away from the next giveaway. And if you win the giveaway, you have a choice of prize. You can either get $25 worth of video game store credit to the video game storefront of your choosing, so that'd be Steam, Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Network, or Xbox Live, or you can have one of my photographs, an 8x12 print of any image on my website, Instagram, Vero, Patreon, any one image. I will make an 8x12 print, or as close to that as possible, and send it to you by way of thanks. So. All right.
Do the thing, raise the money, get the perks.
Hey! All right. Have you shared your links yet, McKenna?
Oh, no, I haven't.
I know, we've been yakking, so...
Yeah, and I'm also, trying to download public domain artwork for reasons, and I fell down a rabbit hole.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. Where is my... So...
Ooh, hold on. We just got another donation.
Oh, okay, cool.
We just got a $15 donation.
Neat.
I didn't actually see the alert pop up, but I'm sure it did. Let me just double check, make sure who that was. Da-de-da. I wonder why the alert didn't go off, but whatever. Hang on a moment, I want to be able to thank you properly. Lena, thank you so much for the $15 donation. Mwah! Mwah! You're $10 away from the next giveaway. I am going to be wrapping this campaign up in September sometime because I've been running it since July. So I'll be sure to let people know, and that's probably going to wind up being like a weekend-long gaming marathon, as is my typical custom for a charity campaign. Means I'll probably play some platforming games and die a lot for charity. that vignette a bit more.
Wait, so I'm not actually plugged into Twitch on this computer. Okay. Username.
Would I be willing to play? I mean, Ender Lilies. No, Silent Martyr. It's for the charity campaign that's at the top. It's at the top of the screen there. Ender Lilies is an awesome game, Wing, but it might be too long. I might not be able to do a complete playthrough of that in one weekend. That's a pretty lengthy game. Outstanding game. Absolutely. No, some of the possible ideas I have for that sort of end of campaign marathon gaming session, probably do a complete playthrough of Shovel Knight, because that only takes about 6-7 hours, and I'm good for a lot of deaths there. Battle Block Theater is an option I have mulling around in my head, or another one of the Behemoth's games like Castle Crashers. Or maybe go old school, like do the Sonic games or Streets of Rage. I've done Dead Cells on Sprites and Dice's charity campaigns. That's also a fun one. All right, here.
Oh, okay. That's why.
Oh, you were having some issues there?
Trying to remember my Twitch password so I can log in and actually share those links.
Oops! So I'm gonna do I will get to you, actually.
There we go. That's progress.
So why did I think Stray was a PS5 exclusive? Am I wrong in thinking that, Silent Martyr? Was it released for other platforms? Because all the information I saw was that it was on PS5. I saw all the memes of the cat and the pss, 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 but in the PlayStation font. It's on Steam. Okay. I did not know that.
There's my stuff.
Awesome. So there's McKenna's socials there. So go check it out. Go follow.
It's mostly the same stuff, just on, your platform of choice.
And also, you have joined the world of Vero.
Oh, yes, I have. Because I keep. How does one actually share a list?
Because I'm getting so frustrated with Instagram and their shift toward video and reels. Like, Instagram is trying to be TikTok, and they are.
So, like, Vero doesn't have. They're not like a website, so they don't have a link specifically that I can share. But I guess I can give my
no, I can find it.
Oh, okay.
Like my web address is vero.co/Brian J. French. So it'd be whatever. I'm gonna take a guess. Yep, I found it. I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you. Two posts that I have on there right now.
because actually, within the last year or two, Vero actually made a desktop app, so you can upload images to it from your desktop.
Fantastic. That's good to know. Because that's part of the reason I have another profile on there for like art stuff, but I just got frustrated with having to just use an app because I don't like tiny screens.
Oh yeah, and that's I started using Instagram a whole lot more when I gained the ability to upload to Instagram from PC. And Vero also jumped on the app train, desktop app, so just about every time I upload there, it's from my computer, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I will say this for Vero. Thanks to you, and I don't know how it's still maintained this, even a while after we've done a vampire photo shoot. I want to say probably 70% of the Vampire Masquerade posts on Vero are your photos of me.
Yes!
Wow. Which, I guess it doesn't surprise me since Vero's still not a huge community, but
not in this country, not in the States.
Yeah, I know, but Vampire has it has an international too. It's pretty popular in Europe, and the company that owns it now is Paranormal. They're based out of Europe, so. But what do I know? I'm just.
The thing is, I get so much more
fancy costumes on the.
I get so much more engagement on Vero than I ever do on Instagram. Ever. I mean, it also helps that on Vero, I'm allowed to post nudity. So I have a lot of nude art that I cannot share most other places because I can't share on Instagram. Facebook, I won't. And even then, not allowed. Twitter, okay. Tumblr, you can't. That's gone. So my only options left are my website, or I have to stick it behind a paywall on Patreon, and which leaves Vero is the only other place I can share any of my nude work. Booba, yes, thank you, silent word. Yes, very much so. All right, so I actually like this black and white version.
Yeah, no, it's classy.
That's very classy. But now I want to check out something else because I like to get a little experimental. I want to see what this looks like in other varieties like sepia. That's actually not too bad. Cyanotype, which I always have a fondness for. I miss making cyanotypes. I loved doing that in college.
This one, I actually like it in, the black and white obviously looks really cool, but I think I like it in color a little better, just because you can really the contrast on the rust in the door.
Yes.
Just it gives it a certain something.
Yeah. All right, so we have edited that one. So let's get rid of you. Let's. I will eventually edit this one. I love this studio one because this is the I'm going to cut you look. I look at that face and I go, that is the face of a retail peon. That is one asshole customer away from going postal.
Yes. that was part of the inspiration, is that she's
I'm going to kill you!
She's been front-facing customer service for a while. And yes, she acts bubbly and bright and whatnot, but between being front-facing customer service and also, traumatic backstory, she's got a she's got a lot of stuff bottled up that she doesn't necessarily express all that often. So there's definitely a little bit of aggression under there.
So the next one I'm going to actually work on is this one that I just really love, of just the hands and the invite, the tea party invite. Mm-hmm. I really like that one. That one was more for me than it was for you. I saw the lighting, I adjusting the camera, and I went, oh ho.
That was a lot of people like really brought their A game for this LARP, with like just having like fun little things to hand out to each other, or like props that they had made in addition to their costumes. So this invitation, there were one of the factions in the game, they were called the Gilded, and they are the old money aristocrats who want all of their, kids to carry on the family name and make good investments or run businesses, or just continue to be rich and fancy, and not be an embarrassment. So there were two players. They were playing sisters, and one of them was Sabine St. James, who was a philanthropist who just genuinely wanted to help people and got like really emotional about it. Like she cried like 2-3 times over the course of the weekend, just being overcome with positive emotion. But due to several factors, backstory being one of them, government embezzlement of charity funds being another, my character really wasn't super trustful of Sabine at the start. She's like, oh, she's just making a show out of being kind and helping all of these people, but she doesn't actually care. She's just doing it for PR, or maybe she actually thinks she's helping, but she could be doing so much more. She's putting on airs, that type of deal. So Dolly got the invitation to this tea party, and she's just like, well, I mean, I have to go because she's also paying me to help cater it, but at the same time, like, she really did not want to go. But Sabine won her over in the end. But her character had all these handmade invitations. She had printed in each of the envelopes was decorated differently, so no two were the same, and it was a nice little thing to bring back from game with me.
It is very nice, and with the outfit, that just adds an extra layer, an extra dimension to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have never, ever participated or played in a LARP, but I'm sure you've played enough to identify ones that have more quality than others.
I mean, I haven't. It's just due to location. Like, I don't actually get to play in all that many games, and I wouldn't say that production value is a symbol of quality. I mean, yes, it can certainly help, especially if a fully immersive experience is what you're going for. But, like, one of the most powerful LARP experiences I ever had was at a game that was legit hosted in someone's backyard.
Oh.
It was my husband and I went out to Massachusetts to play in a couple games with some friends I had met in the college LARP community at RIT, because I'd been to a few events there, or not RIT, RPI, because I'd been to a few events there, and it was, the location was actually a co-housing community that was started by a bunch of nerd friends. They applied for the land permits, they got the loans to just like do this little like nerd commune with a little community center, kitchen, garden, whatnot, and individual houses for all the families that were living there. But there were 2 games over the course of the event, as it were, and they were just on that property. And the second game of the evening, it was called The Leonids, which was it is written by a pair of LARP writers out of Massachusetts called let me see if I can get there. I think it's like Paranoid and Crotchety, something like that. But it's 2 people, and they write just short one-shots. And this one that we were in was centered around a group of college students who are watching a meteor shower. And it was a magical realism game where during the meteor shower, the ghost of one of their friends who had died several months prior was able to communicate them through the use of a mirror. So it was a bunch of people talking to each other and getting emotional and like having like some seriously like in-depth like discussions and interactions with no props save for the mirror, and we were all just hanging out in the person's backyard. And so Shane was with me, and Shane's my husband. He was the ghost, and my character was his character's former roommate and best friend. So I spent the entire evening like mourning the death of the most important person in my life, and I like sobbed during a portion of it. It was heavy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So just goes to show you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on travel and costume and whatnot to have a good geeky time.
Very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I have.
Hey, it's the champagne.
It is the champagne. I'm shifting over to this one as the next one for next studio one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously, you bought the booze, but that little glass that McKenna is holding in her hand there, that is one of 2 sherry glasses that I actually have. It's sitting on, it's sitting next to the bottle of Amontillado that I have, because I love Edgar Allan Poe. What can I say? And I was so curious after I had finished reading The Cask of Amontillado. I was like, okay, what the hell does this taste like that somebody wound up getting bricked up for? So
if you're that bad of an alcoholic, you'll do it for pretty much anything.
Apparently, and so I had some. I mean, it's a sweet wine. It's a dessert wine. It's sherry. And I'm drinking it, and I'm going, wow, he died for this? Really? But to your point, he was already shit-faced to begin with.
Mm. So there's a dating sim called Dream Daddy that where you play as a dad, and you're trying to form a relationship with another dad in the neighborhood. And there's of course all of the kids in the game play an important role in the story, and there's one scene where one of the teenagers he's trying to pull a cask of Amontillado on one of the other kids in the neighborhood by like telling him like, I don't remember what he said was in the basement. It might have been like drugs or porn or something, but he got suspended from school, and his parents just like, did you just... So you were paying attention in English class! Was basically the response. Imagine drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yep. Have some hard cider. Fortunately, the story was not called "The Cask of a Jaeger Bomb." It just wouldn't have...
Imagine if it were, though.
I don't think Edgar Allan Poe would have known what to do.
Fair. You know what I would like to try at some point? Like, I would like to try properly prepping absinthe.
I have had absinthe. Oh boy.
I hear it kicks you in the pants.
Oh, it doesn't take much. I've tried it. Oh,
it's just so pretty. Like, there's something about the aesthetic of it where I'm just like, I want to do this.
It's a gorgeous drink.
I want to make sure, like, I'm in the proper... Like, it would have to be, like, an event.
Yes.
Like, I'd have to, like, go through the time of making sure, like, I am doing right by the aesthetic of this drink.
Absolutely. And it's... Someone has absolutely died over a Jaeger bomb. You've been to Boston, you know.
I mean, lots of people in Boston have died over many things. You could tell me someone in Boston died over, like,
molasses.
The definition of a milkshake, and I would believe you.
What the hell was I doing? Oh yes, brightness contrast. What am I doing?
Sorry, I'm a distraction.
No, I'm just... You've been to Boston, you know. So not at 2 a.m. on a Monday night. No, typically if I'm up at 2 a.m. in Boston, it's usually at PAX. Probably stuffing my face with insomnia cookies.
I mean, what better place and time to have an insomnia cookie?
That is actually... So... It looks very much like I am going to PAX Unplugged in Philly in December, and Philly is one of the few places that actually has insomnia cookies. So I think it's Boston, Philly, and New York, and that is something I kind of really look forward to at the end of a night at the convention center. Is just getting back to my hotel room and just like, oh, I'm still wired. Let's play board games and have fresh baked chocolate chip cookies and cold milk delivered to the hotel room.
I would like to go to a convention again at some point. Like, I stopped doing conventions because I was doing LARP and I can't split my money that far. But at some point, I'd like to try again.
Oh.
I used to do Otakon every year. One of my friends went again this year, and I guess it was like super overcrowded and they hadn't planned for it, but I was just like so jealous. Like, I miss that environment.
Yeah, like when I went to PAX East earlier this year, it was very nice to go back to, and because they had the COVID rules in place, so you had to be fully vaxxed, and it was a fully masked event. It meant that a lot of the angry neckbeards weren't there, which was great. Also, for this particular convention, a lot of the big names weren't there. So there was no Nintendo, no Microsoft, Sony, whatever. Which meant there was a lot more indie games on the expo floor, and it meant a lot more room. Which was nice, because normally Saturday, which is the busiest day of the convention, the idea of personal space doesn't exist. And there was this time. It was fully sold out. But because there was more room on the floor, and a lot more indies, it was very nice. Well, Silent Martyr, there is still time. Hopefully, that situation changes for you between now and December, because I'd love to have you. Philly's an amazing place. All right, let's darken things up a little here. Break up the back, and the background that we chose for the studio part of the shoot, that lent itself really well.
Yeah, there was more green in it than I thought there would be. Like, I thought it was going to be like mostly like grays and browns, but it does have sort of like a mossy undertone to it, which worked really well with the green and the blouse and the skirt. Good luck on your interview.
Yes, good luck, Silent Martyr. PAX Unplugged actually is the only PAX convention that April will come with me to, because it's very much more her speed. Because it's all PAX Unplugged is literally, it's all tabletop and board games. There's no video game anywhere to be found, so it's a lot less energy. It's a lot more low key. There's still a significant amount of people who go, but it's not wall-to-wall noise all the time with all the video games and electronic everything. I wish they would bring back the Monopoly tournament. They had it once and then never again.
Probably because everyone hated each other after it.
That's actually what happened, because I participated in that Monopoly tournament, and it was a 16-player Monopoly tournament. So there were 4 Monopoly boards, 4 players per table, and the winners of each game then played each other in a 4-player final table. And I was the last one to be eliminated. I was 5th place before the final table. But so I left, and then I come back the next day, and I ask the PAX enforcers who are running the classic cardboard room, and they just told me how the final table basically devolved into exactly what you would expect a Monopoly game to devolve into.
Mm-hmm.
And so they haven't had that tournament since. Which makes me sad, because I'm like one of the only players in my friends group who actually likes Monopoly.
I don't mind it.
And I know Shane loves it. I know Shane very much enjoys it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love it. Monopoly also has sentimental value for me. It was like the first board game my mother taught me how to play. So, I very much enjoy it.
I didn't play actual Monopoly until college. We had Monopoly Junior when I was growing up, where you got to buy all of the theme park rides.
You're in a Discord where you played occasionally on PC. Oh. That might be fun. Alright, we're just taking the dodge tool and we're lightening up your hair a little bit so that it's not fully in shadow. That's not too bad at all. And there's no reflection I need to remove, but we are going to tweak that burn scar a little bit. Again. So, I know I sent you all of the low-res images and whatnot. Is there any ones that you specifically want me, because I mean, obviously you're paying me for this, any specific ones you want me to work on? If not on stream, then I would definitely work on it off stream, but... Or have you not had a chance to look?
What's up? Let me see here. I'm scrolling through them now. One of the ones where, one of the studio ones where I holding one of the lock picks and against my mouth and sort of like looking thoughtfully. That one.
Can you give me a number, and I will, because they're all numbered, and I will.
Oh, that's fair. Let me get back. Let me go to the Google Drive then, rather than just what I saved. Let's see here. $42 from the studio.
42?
Yes.
All right.
One of my favorites for location. They're all so good. That's the problem.
I very much appreciate the ego boost. Like, again, I will work on as many as you specifically want me to edit.
67 or 69.
Nice. From the studio?
No, from Knott Street.
From the Knott Memorial.
Okay. 68's cool too, because then you get the full railing on,
all right, so
on that one.
67 really cool through 69. Okay.
Yeah, your choice on that one, because I know got limited time here on the stream, but those are some of my favorites from that. And what's another one I liked for that? '89's also a lot of fun.
89
the lighting's
from
really
the Knott Memorial. Okay.
Yeah, the lighting's really harsh on that one, but I kind of like it. I think it works with that particular pose.
And just like that, we drop the saturation on the burn scar, and that becomes closer to skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Nice. I'm just gonna tweak that a little bit. Yeah, I think we're pretty well set there. Alright. Let's go back out to the screen there. How much? Oh, I've still got like 45 minutes or so before I call it a night. We are just trucking right along. What else do I want to do to this one? We're on the dodge setting. Let's do a little burn setting here to dull some of those very bright spots from the flash. So let's make them not quite as hot. And I still have that roll of film to develop yet, so that might be next week's art stream. That means for those of you who out there who enjoy my film developing streams, we might have some constant agitation for next week.
Playing with dangerous chemicals.
Black and white film, not too dangerous. if I
Fair.
color film,
Slightly less dangerous chemicals.
color film are the dangerous chemicals. I still want to learn how to develop my own color film, but that is something that I need to do in a much better ventilated apartment, because just in brief, McKenna, like the steps to developing black and white film, you have developer, stop bath, fixer, and they're pretty much, they're not really toxic. I mean, I develop chemicals in bare hands. The worst that they'll do is that if you have really sensitive skin, they might cause some minor irritation, but they're not really toxic. If you chug them, you might have a little bit of a bad time, but they won't kill you. For color film, it's the same principle, but it's developer, stop bath, and also fixer, but the fixer is bleach. Bleach at 100, but bleach between 105 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So, a little lukewarm here. Good evening, halfling spy. Whatever you do, whatever I do, what? Alright, we've dulled some of the really bright spots there, so let's, I think we're good for this one. We'll do a black and white. Just let's save this as is.
Actually looking at the studio ones again, 64, 66, and 63. One of those might look really cool doing that faux tintype that we did the last time.
That's something I haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
See, because we have just a slight bit of the brand name of the champagne in there, now with this black and white, it almost looks like an ad in a magazine.
Really not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Wouldn't that be awesome, though? Like,
if Corbell reaches out and be like, "Hey, we want to use it," I'm like, all right, sure, I'm willing to sell
just drown
myself.
me in mimosas.
I'm willing to sell myself for a price, All right, let's do one of the ones that you specifically want me to edit. So let's see. We've got a smorgasbord to choose from.
It's just so hard to pick.
That's a great problem to have, and really, you're just fluffing my ego massively, I'll have you know. So, all right, we just did a studio one. Let's go back to the Not Memorial. So let's do 67, 68, or 69. Let me just have a look.
Oh, the 67, 60, and 69, that was from Studio, sorry.
Oh, Studio. Okay. Let me...
Or was it the 60s for Not, too? It might have been. Yes, it was. It was, 64...
64, 66, 63 for Studio. 67 through 69, Not Memorial, is what I have.
Okay, alrighty. Okay.
So let's... What was 64? 67 through 69?
And 64, or 66 as well.
So these are the ones of you just sitting on the chair,
yeah.
Exasperated.
Yeah, just being like, oh, WTF, guys.
WTF. All right, let's do. That one. I like that one. I'll do 60... 67. We'll do 67. All right. Really? Guys, really? We're doing this?
Not gonna lie, that was my pose for like 50% of the game. Like anytime there was a chair, it was just like, okay, off my feet.
Oh, that's the small JPEG. I want the larger one of that. Where are you? There we are. There we are. That one.
73 is a good one too.
Okay. That one has a little bit more blue in the image than I wonder if when I white balanced it, that came out. All right, so we're just gonna.
I did not notice. I have a blue light filter on my phone, so everything looks, unless it's like super blue, things just generally look a lot warmer.
No, I did a white balance before we started, and I was just like, oh. So what I'm going to do here is actually. Oh, that looks worse. Okay, no. That's fine. We'll fix that.
Because there's proportionally like more gray in this one in the center than the others. A very cool gray color that I used for dress.
No, let me go back to the original image. My unwhite balanced image. I'm gonna go back to that and do a side by side. Let's open this up in Camera Raw. So let me just go back to as shot. Okay, let's open you up. Okay, so let's do a side by side. That way I will get a better picture of what I've got here. Okay, now I see where we are. All right, so the white balanced one is actually more correct. Okay, that's all right. Needed to make sure of that. I'm like, wait a minute.
You know, I can see where, like, just because everything in the setting is so warm, it like seeing it balanced can be like a little jarring.
Yeah, like, and that's what I'm taking a look at. I'm like, wait a minute, but as shot, there was more red in the image, and this is closer to normal in the white balanced one. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. See ya.
Bye.
Okay. That was why I had you hold that gray card, because I white balanced the set before we started. Prep work!
Hey.
I've noticed noticed that you've started posting some more of your drawings from your other D&D campaign that you're playing in.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I want to draw from that game. My regular Dungeons and Dragons group is our DM is running Curse of Strahd for us, which I'm having a lot of fun with, and as soon as we finish, I'm gonna see if I can run it for some of my other gaming friends, because it's right up my... Oh, that was a lot of color changes at once.
Oh yeah. So this is on the hue saturation screen, the hue saturation setting. Oh yeah, it's like if I just go crazy with the hue, you just start changing all sorts of colors.
Suddenly, I'm a Lisa Frank character.
Suddenly,
which I
yes,
100% okay with, but.
So saturation goes all the way up to 100, or if I remove all the saturation, it's just a black and white image. But yeah, sometimes it's like ooh. We just need the dolphins and unicorns and rainbows.
Yep. Curse of Strahd has been really fun, and the second to last session we had was just a lot happened. It was one of those sessions where like a lot of different plot threads sort of came to a head and exploded. And that's super vague, but like I also don't want to get into a tangent on characters that people don't know or care about. I just realized my game group. They're good people. One of the players switched out characters because he wasn't enjoying the bard that he was playing, so he switched out for a rogue, and it was that character's introduction. And he popped in during a combat encounter and immediately got grappled by a carnivorous shrubbery, and spent like the first 30 minutes of this character's introduction just being grappled by a carnivorous shrubbery. It's like, well, I'm here. It was nice knowing you.
It sounds like there's at least one or five easy Monty Python jokes to make.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you don't make a Monty Python joke at some point during your Dungeons & Dragons campaign, are you actually playing Dungeons & Dragons?
Seriously. Just carnivorous shrubbery, and all I can think of is, you shall get me another shrubbery! So what I'm finding in this image, that even though it is white balanced, because of the indoor lighting, there's still wound up being a significant amount of blue in the jacket, so I had to really desaturate the blues in here so that it comes back to its normal gray.
Something I'm also noticing, and maybe it's just my display settings, is that the corset looks more white now than it does pink.
Yes, and I'm seeing that as well. Although looking at my original image,
I mean, that also might just be the lighting. It is satin, so it's going to reflect a lot of light.
Yeah, I'm looking at my original image as well, and there's definitely it's more white. Because you were
shiny
pretty,
fabrics and photography.
Yeah, you were pretty. The way you were sitting, you were pretty close to a window, and it had a pretty direct direct beam in front of you. So yes, even in my original image, it's more white than pink.
That is fair.
Silent Martyr writes down carnivorous shrubbery for next 4th survival campaign.
I mean, you really can't go wrong with the plants that try to eat people. Like, it's just, it's good. It's good encounter fodder. Like, if you have a creepy forest and you don't have the roots try to grapple and consume your PCs, are you really in a creepy forest?
Seriously. I noticed that if I bring the contrast down, more of the detail in the corset gets highlighted.
That's actually, like, really... It's not what you would expect. Like, you would expect there to be more contrast the more saturation there is. But...
Well, because I'm toning down the direct light that's coming in, it's bringing out those details a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So the place, the location that we shot at, for those of you out there who are not familiar with the Capital District, this is a historical building. It's a historic landmark at Union College in Schenectady, New York, called the Knott Memorial. N-O-T-T.
What do you mean it's not a memorial? You should fire me.
That's it. I'm adding to the bill. Bad pun surcharge.
When was it built? It was built in 1858, so 100% period in terms of inspiration. What was it originally built for? Wikipedia's not telling me.
Oh, I like that icon, Silent Martyr. It's the puke icon. Was that one of yours? What was the one? Was it one that was commissioned for your channel? Speaking of, while I have Silent Martyr here, let's give him a shout out. Silent Martyr is a stream runner, a speed runner. Their words, a speed runner who's currently trying to. He's been playing a lot of Resident Evil 4 of late, trying to climb up the leaderboard. So if you like speed running, Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear Solid, I know he plays from time to time, Chrono Trigger, go give him a follow. He's a cool guy. It's a Metal Gear Solid themed channel that had been subbed for years. So speaking of Metal Gear Solid, that's going to be a game that I play next year, Silent Martyr, as a casual playthrough. Because I believe it's got a milestone anniversary coming up. Yes, next year, it'll be the 25th anniversary of Metal Gear Solid, so I will be playing that on stream.
Fun.
Just like I'm going through right now my 20th anniversary playthrough of Xenosaga. And then after Xenosaga, it's my 25th anniversary playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, my very first JRPG. That was the one that opened the door. All right, so we've got that. I do. I love that expression because you're just like it like yes, it's a what the hell sort of face, but also a also has a tired what the hell behind it.
What can I say? She's a workaholic.
All mastered materia. No, no, I'm not a masochist like you, Silent Martyr. Hell no. You were doing the Lord's work. I will not be doing the Lord's work, mastering the materia. I may not even try to go for Knights of the Round, because that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
The last Final Fantasy game I played was the rhythm game on 3DS. It was more fun than it should be.
Though some of the rhythm games for some of the franchises were more popular than I felt that they had any right to be, but a lot of people enjoyed them.
Also, just, I mean, for all of, like, the criticisms of recent entries into the Final Fantasy series, you can't say that their music is never not on point.
No, the music is amazing. In fact, I found out some time ago that on my birthday, so it's November 19th, there is going to be Final Fantasy Distant Worlds, the concert tour in Boston.
Nice.
Guess what I just bought tickets to last night?
Nice.
Like, I'm going to be in Boston on my birthday seeing that show for the second time. It's
a good time. I didn't see the whole thing because we but when I was living out in Binghamton, my roommate and I went to see it when it was in Rochester. Unfortunately, we only got to see the second half because she got stuck working late, but it was still worth it.
The Lord is cruel, evil, be like, you know, that happens sometimes. All right, let's go to another one of the studio images that you want. So let's do 63, 64, or 66. Let me just have a look to see what those are. Oh, okay. Those are like some of the custom shots. 63, 64, 66. Let's do a full body one. Let's do that. Let's go 64. Okay, let's do some. And I think I did a smart thing the last time you and I were on an art stream, and I did the digital tintype. I think I saved the instructions. I'm really hoping I did that smart thing. Although, I have to say, Silent Martyr, you do willingly put yourself through that suffering with all of the speed running. Like, I admire speedrunners who can just take a game and grind it down to the point where they can just do it in their sleep and try and find every glitch, every advantage, everything they possibly can to shave fractions of seconds off record time. I could never do that. I would get sick of a game long before. So you have my gratitude. All right, That's actually a pretty decent curves layout. That's actually pretty good. I don't need to do much adjusting, any adjusting there. I mean, that makes sense, Silent Mart. I mean, if you're speedrunning, if you're doing it, if you're live, there is a bit of a performance aspect to it. I can understand that.
That's something you can't tell when it's zoomed out like this, but the eyelets on the corset are little flowers.
Oh, and once again, I pulled up the low-res version of that. Let me pull up the high-res version of that image.
Whoop.
I'm zooming in, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm getting pixelated. That shouldn't happen. Oh!
Oh, wait.
Now we'll zoom in and have a look-see. Yes, they are. Even at 100% magnification, I can tell that's. And you put all those in by hand. Bless you.
I mean, the hardest part on those is that, like, they're actually kind of cheap. So, as you can see, a lot of the paint is chipping off of them because you have to, like, hammer super gently or it just flakes right off.
Are they metal or plastic?
Metal. But even with the chipping, they're still gorgeous and I love them.
It gives it character.
So something I learned while making this corset is that the more, like, part of the reason I chose this pattern was because it had minimal boning, and relied more on cording, which is sewing cords either from cotton or some other stiffer, thicker material close together to give it rigidity and support, but also allowing it to remain flexible. The problem there being, the hip sections have horizontal seams in them, where you have the cords running horizontally, and they meet halfway up two vertical panels. And on those horizontal seams, it likes to pinch in if there's not something stiff there to make it stay, not pinchy. So I actually had to add more bones to it, because otherwise it would, like, look all wonky and give ripples where there weren't supposed to be any.
So how long does it typically make you, like one of these these corsets or bodices? How long does that usually take?
8 hours.
Oh.
About between 8 and 10 for the final product. This one I made 4 mock-ups, 2 of which were made out of, well, one was made out of paper. I took some newsprint and just cut it out so I could, like, see how the pattern was supposed to work. And then I did a quick one out of like a thick burlap cotton. And then I did a third one with some more alterations. I wanted to make sure that I got the fit perfect. I also had to the measurement of the bust was good for me, but the allocation of space was not, so I had to resize and put some pieces around to give more space in the bust. Because even if something has enough space to fit around, if it's not shaped properly, it's still gonna like constrict you or parts of you in ways that it's not supposed to. So the way it originally worked was that the bust portion, the front panels were kind of like a spoon shape to allow for more volume in the front, but there wasn't enough volume in the sides. It was all in the front. So I had to actually like chop off the corner of the side panels and extend one of the bust panels to almost make like a cup, like you would see in a bra. So still sort of in the same vein of the original design.
All right, now we're going to make this look like, let's see how this looks like as a digital tin type. I did save the instructions. I just pulled them up. So let's do the thing. All right, first things first. I need a gradient map adjustment layer. Okay, done. All right. Let's set the... okay, so click on the lower square, then the gradient bar, that becomes... What is my RGB value? It's going to be 31, 28, 23, so I'm setting my black point and my white point for those of you who are following along. And then the white point will be 164, 158, 145. Okay. It's already starting to look like it already. Now that we've redefined the black and white, we create a curves adjustment layer beneath your gradient map. Okay. So now do a curves adjustment, and now we're going to make this a bit like an S curve. So we're going to do something like that, and then something like that. And then that is actually should be more centered. And then one up here. That should be a bit straighter. And then the last thing we do here is we're going to just brighten this up a little more. And there we are. That's your digital tin type. Mostly. No, there's additional steps to sort of like blur the background even more, make it look even grainier. But that, I mean, compared to... Do I still have the ones that I made previously? Yes, so this is the last one I did. No, open in Photoshop, you fool.
What if it doesn't want to open in Photoshop?
So that was the last one that we did. There we are. And that was with a different background.
Mm-hmm.
So this one has a bit of a lighter background. it still has that look of...
Yeah, because the background is, like, the backdrop is modeled, so...
Yes. I think this one, we have a better effect.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not too bad either.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how that looks, we do lose some detail in the corset, but not too much.
Yeah, but, like, even then, though, like, it still looks like that loss of detail is slightly period, because, like, a lot of them aren't huge images, so you don't have that level of detail that you would with a high-resolution modern digital camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the detail that is there is very crisp. It just can't pick up on your eye can't pick up on those things when they're that tiny, so...
So what we're going to do is to see if we can make the effect a little stronger. Is we're just going to blur the background a little. Just a little. Am I on the blur tool? Just making sure I have it. Yes. Let me just make sure. Okay, it is doing it, just at a very small level.
I'm gonna say, you have the right tool? Are you on the right layer?
Yes, I am. That was like, wait a minute. Yes, I am. I am on the right layer, which is a fair question to ask.
I myself was not on the right layer when I was doing art earlier tonight, and I had to undo a bunch of stuff, and it made me very sad.
This is why I create a background copy layer. For this exact reason. So if we just blur out the background, just a skosh. So this is going to be the last call for people, if they want to make any donations to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project charity campaign that I am running. It's an organization that provides financial assistance to women who need to get abortions, emergency contraception, other reproductive health care. Very, very important cause because abortion rights are essential. I know it must shock you to hear this, but women are people too. And they need the care. So if you are able to contribute, the donate link pops up in the chat from time to time, but just if it's not, then type in !charity and make a contribution if you are able to. Well, I'm doing giveaways for every $100 that we raise. We are $10 away from the next giveaway, and the giveaway is going to be in the form of either video game store credit to the storefront of your choosing, so that'd be like Nintendo eShop, Steam, PlayStation Network, or Xbox Live. Or, if you win the giveaway, you could have some of my artwork. You could have some of my photography. You can go onto my website, Vero, Patreon, Instagram, anywhere where I've got my images, and pick a single image, any image you want, and I will send that to you as an 8x12 print by way of thanks. So if you are able to do that, much, much appreciated. Yeah, because we are just about at 9:30, so this is going to be the last one I do for tonight before I do the what I usually do at the end of the art stream and do a recap. So what I'm also doing is McKenna, I'm also blurring some of the edges of yourself. Mm-hmm. So like I blurred the top of your head a little to give sort of that camera blur that was pretty common because we hadn't gotten perfection on camera lenses yet.
it's a really, really nice effect.
That looks better. That looks better. Like in the full view like this, it does definitely look softened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes for a better image. So I'm going to save it as tintype. And now it's time to show off what we've done for the evening. As I can see my viewer count, and I see my audience disappearing because it is the end. So let's go to our good friend Bridge, and let's show the different Photoshop. So these are the studio ones that we did tonight. So we've got you opening up the bottle of wine there. And then we've got drinking some champagne. And then we have the underpinning of the outfit, the regular version and the digital tintype we just did. And then we'll go to the not memorial ones that we did. Did 3 versions of this lockpicking one. I did the regular one, a black and white, and a sepia. We did our what the hell, guys. And then we did the tea party.
And they all look amazing.
And I'll be sure to send you the versions of these, McKenna, as well. So my stream schedule for the rest of the week. So Thursday, back here, 7:30 p.m. Eastern for more Xenosaga. Friday is tentative. Friday, my spouse is having some minor surgery done, so me popping on for my normal 7:30 Friday night stream will be dependent on how fucking exhausted I am, and if my dear spouse needs constant care after coming back from outpatient surgery. So Friday is tentative, but definitely next stream will be Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for more Xenosaga. So thank you, McKenna, for being on the stream with me.
It was a fun time. Thank you for letting me help and word vomit over everyone.
Hey, that's fine. It gets boring if I'm the only one talking to myself, so I'm glad to have somebody else to talk to. So be sure to check McKenna out. I know she posted her socials earlier. They're in the chat. And I'll be sure to post them on my socials as well. So let's see if anyone is currently streaming that I could share the love. Let's see who's on. Yes, of course, my good friend Tiny Dragon on Fire is currently online, and they're currently making comics. So we're going to send you over to Tiny Dragon on Fire. Let me just get that raid going. And once again, thank you so much for spending some of your Monday evening with me. And until I see you guys again, stay healthy, stay safe, go get fucking vaccinated, boosted, and wear your goddamn masks. Please. I want you to stay healthy out there and try to not get plague. So, all right, everyone. Until I see you Thursday, good night, and joy be with you all. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Well, that was fun.